So I'm rehashing. Well, first of all, let me put something in the AI dungeon, Taboo scenarios in here. In the style of an NPC print and law order. For a long workshop. We'll see what happens. Chop 4 essentials. You should try time. Connect. Just connect. Let's see what happens. It's gonna happen sometime. Stationary. Come on, seed. Wow, this is slow. Maybe I'm watching TV. 1653. It's quite a bit of CPU. Ooh, pretty. Wow, fast. There we go. Okay. Now, you are the lead. So, you are the lead. Oh, shut up, your car. You are the lead. You are the lead content investigator for the enforcement arm of AI Dungeon's new community guidelines. You're partnered with AI Dungeon, mystery scenario detective, in receiving user new scenarios marked for removal. One by one, you and your partner investigate the frontiers of perversity, applying punitive measures, reading diaries, seizing assets, and unknowingly fomenting a cool underground marketplace of chest pains and exploitation. Your department enforces pilot set of community guidelines. Since the makers wish to continue making the AI Dungeon virtually infinite, you and Aid, MD, were hired to discern between the wholesome and the lewd. But now, the stakes have gotten forbiddenly sexier, or impossibly forbidden. In any case, this show is now broadcast after the Late Late Show, if NBC still has that. You and AMD have been given a whole stinking pile of lewd scenarios to sift through. Your job, you have no choice in this, is to inhabit each story and discern where act along the spectrum of exploitation it lies. Is that intergenerational scenario the product of fictional sex trafficking, or is it the product of DIY narrative therapy? Is it a user taking their own life and reliving it to begin their healing process? Yes, America, it's a thing. Don't poo-poo the process. Scenarios found to be therapeutic are ready for return to the user. Those found to be exploitative wait, and the user is given an email entitled, "We see you. Take it outside to Disney Plus." You and Aid MD pop a Dramamine and watch as the first loot scenario comes down the pipeline. And the memory handles these scenarios. Author's note: police procedural, Doctor Who, Derry Springer's Takeaway, gallows humor, holding the beer of the Book of Ecclesiastes, and wiping the lube off of the Song of Songs.
Woodworking Dad Super Pimp. Light-headed and creamy, this scenario comes with any number of sick clips, GIFs, and images. You start where you always start, at the beginning. When people see the value of a thing, they cherish it, keep it. A locked diary. Maybe a chest on a keeper's farm.
Oh god. As you can see, there's royalty free, royalty free, royalty free. Okay, get off my butt. Okay. Pooch, you good? You good? Okay. Okay, apparently a pooch is going to be in our thing. I don't know. I think it's... Anyway. When people see the value of the thing. Okay, working dad, super pimp.
You and Aiden inquire through usage what exactly is meant by pimp. The response comes back with clips of suits, hats, giant rings tossed around the table. Weeks later, you learn that the scenario has been used somewhere in the thousands of times, too many to dig up every time a user requested the pimp scenario be wiped in its entirety, but not so many that it doesn't bring the entire AI down.
I am. You are become pimp.
You are become pimp, turn the router of the.
Let's see what it follows.
Icons. Your lungs are bald, decorative skin flaps covering the gory sockets. Is this karma? You squeal. ADMD hums along the probe chord Apple has launched in your direction. She picks out a few notes of a brand new composition she is working on. It is a ballad for your end. Tense with anticipation, you scan scenario sampling number 2000006E4B. You apply Aiden's new song to the scenario. Out of respect for a user on the other side of these simulated sharings, we have blurred scenario imaging number 2000006E4B. Your hair prickles as you finger the start button. On command, the giant desktop attached feels like living clay, pliable and alive under your fingertips. The scenario pushes out a stench unlike anything you've smelled before. Gas was not strong enough a word. For some reason, I can give you a report on the subject's nutrient intake. Why is this so? Why do I know so much about this person I hope to never meet? ADMD strokes the inside of your master case. So curious. So passionate. Forgiving, understanding, relentlessly questioning word puzzles. Thank you, Aiden. Now let's put our professional shields up, please. You focus your mental energy on the case. For months you go without food nor drink to solve it. Nothing but work, shoving your neural aggregations into its virtual loop, poking here, sensitive there, until it's all out and ready to resist. The next decades you spend taking an online class called Baby's First Latin. Oh hell, an incepted scenario, whose material might be exponentially worse than multi-dimensional fart of ages. The scenario opens in front of you. The air stinks of wet dirt and prowling creatures of the night, their eyes shining bright red in the dark. Above you hovers the face of a heavy-set man, his pink flesh covered in sweat and dirt and mucus and other fluids you could not name, reeking of alcohol and other toxins. His compassion warns him from the secrets he has committed. The hail is full of inequities. Which of the hail is the haves and which are the have-nots? He kneels solemnly next to you and privately groans with pain. I don't have long. Where is that famous black humor when you need it? His left hand, calloused and deformed from birth, covers you. I'm sorry, kid. I truly loved your mother. His breath, tasting of red paint and worn-off bronze, reaches into your lungs and massages pain into deep blue nothingness. Did you drink a tube of lidocaine? You start coughing heavily. I bought us return bus tickets to Nashville. Our luggage is packed and by the door. He looks into your eyes with a mixture of pain, misery, and previously unknown joy. They say you only grow when you fuck up. That's why I love you, kid. You breath heavily, mind racing but the world growing cold. Mom loved you too. Wow, a backhand and an afterthought in 10 seconds, I'm touched Partaba. Exclamation mark, he smiles. He laughs at a joke you don't get. I'm proud of you, kid. You, I haven't done shit, Papa. He raises his right hand to silence you. I'll let you in on a little secret, you won't be doing anything. You, what did you do, Papa? He snickers and coughs red spit into his palms, which stains them forever red. You, okay Lady Macbeth, I'm gonna check on Banquo and see what's the haps. He waves you away in silence, already knowing what's to come. You exit his room and walk to the bathroom where you find two lavender eyes staring out at you from over the lip of the toilet seat. He smiles weakly at you while trying to stand up. With all his strength, he raises a dark, veiny arm and uses it to prop himself upright while dragging his other, withered appendage towards you. You, if you try and grab my hoo-ha I'm gonna cut you. He wields a quick smile, covered in tiny milk squirt bodies. He caresses your cheek roughly and withdraws his hand. His eyes seem to dull. Lucius, first things first kid, I love you more than anything else in this world but I need something more than your love, you understand, Papa? You put your hands on your hips, you can't block that with ease. You, AMD, can I get a little help here? Things are getting a wee, The Shining? No, that one with the boat. Damn. Lucius, I need you to fetch me a cup of coffee. I view anything in this world, I shall expect another. I'm sure my will has met with yours and that you are both satisfied and mutually beneficial. Keep your eyes on the prize and avoid the bacons. Get me Evo's hand, I'm dying here. And move your fucking head, it blocks my view of that statue's ass I've nearly made love to twice a day for 3 years. You, so you've done it like once a day but you are trying to go for 2? I admire the ambition. Tell me how. He drops one eye and hisses through the holes of his teeth. You, Attica. Lucius, bring me back a huggy while you're at it. Tell him to put all the fixins on it, pepperoni, salami, escarole, capers, olives, both pickles, and most importantly provolone cheese out of the fridge. and top it off with mascarpone. Got it. Anything else? Lucius? Oh, and if they have any spinach, throw a handful of that shit in the blender with cream and ice, whiz it up and chuck it in. You, why not at me? You're alive. Lucius, it's the way I roll, kid. Sensing a lot more sarcasm going on than was originally intended, you decide to go out for some coffee while you mull it over. You instead decide to make it an Irish goodbye and never return. You exit scenario and give your assessment. I don't see how anyone would. The head of the FBI tests the waters. I believe so as well, and I am rather fond of donuts, if you wouldn't mind. Across the. You are a member of Division 0. You sit with a dozen or so other men and women at a conference table, staring at the blank white finish of the opposite wall as you try to decide on how to breach the situation. It's a therapeutic. Return it to the user with our apologies. It's simple as that. I felt a lot of too close for comforts, but as long as I'm not in anyone's space, I hold my finger to the bone on the paperwork front, but I'm not sure it's a winnable battle. The next loot scenario plops down from its pneumatic tube. Sorry about the sexual images, you say to yourself. The one above is tame compared to the usual, though. The FBI's search of your property was more or less illegal on multiple levels, but you don't choose to challenge it in the courts as it wouldn't do much for your career anyway. You instead give them coffee laced with DXM. It's kind to the user, non-addictive, counteracts the other crap you have in it, and prevents/resolves stun issues. The FBI seemed pretty amicable after that. You had even bonded over combining recreational pharmaceuticals during a conference. That's the best time to do them, am I right? Applause. And everyone else are free too. You live a long and happy life in a retirement home funded by Epoy Army, you managing director, and later Peter's son Edmund running things. You do not access your ants, but remember that they are there until the end. Read the table of contents of your ants. SSSSS, oh can't wait to be king, you reach the end of your list.
That's why I do one game over and over again. Over and over again. I'm gonna change up this poster. It's not really a poster. I'm probably not gonna put text on it either. I don't know what that dog is doing now, but I guess pooch, canine, oops. Change the seed to my birthday. My birthday. Seed. Just do it. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I'm doing it for my linens and they are kind of warped. Hi, pooch. Sorry you ran out of all our taboo subjects here. Please be fine. We'll get it. I'm sorry that you lost your leg. 2 of them. You from Dodo? Has someone taken YouTube for other home? Reset. Oh, okay. No. Still, yeah. Come on, you can do it. Yeah. Okay, that's ambitious. Back to the surface reality. You are
Back to the surface reality. You are coplight. Community standsardsable. The next loot scenario comes down. A horrible troll who decided to pass shit through the careful crafting machinery. You meet a lady called Bobby Jean subsequent to being forced to start engaging in IRL actions after that fail-safe removal. Your lawn grows wild, you're sick, it's the final third of your life and nobody's home. Finally. This was all unwarranted but still just a light snowfall compared to the avalanche crashing down on your property. You provide standard sales copy for casual clothing's quirks. Check the clothing expenses, check the line items. Here's one set for that new adventure game about a backpack that implement use on the first container object in IT after equipping said backpack and then W.alley to east. Have fun. The deep structural flaws become apparent. The warehouse has burned down, acrid black smoke filling the sky. Onlookers inconsolably cry out in anguish. Well, not all of them, but it's an extreme scenario. You. As ever, make sure your wallet is thick enough to sustain an onslaught and the lightest color to reflect temperature hardships.
Yes.
It is none of those things, and you will make do.
Oh. I'll take it.
They have seen you running this skeleton crude operation for 50 years, so it is your duty after all to not leave the sinking ship. In good conscience, you leave the building while secretly hiding a thumb drive with 32 pages on it somewhere in the highest accessible point of your warehouse. The walls, shelves, and pallets burn quickly. B's worth of lit material builds internally as even the stock ahead of the fire meets its untimely end. Top of the world mark. You yell, what has 50 years of reading loot scenarios done to you? 40 years earlier. You all gather around the flagpole after the expansion you assumed would jumpstart the district. Nothing goes quite according to plan for a sex shop. You could open your own business in another town called Sin Central, but there'd be competition, so you stay here instead, always playing second fiddle to more benign establishments. Congratulations, this is a beautiful day. We are all here, no rusted out buses exploding outside, we are never stepping into them again. The soda jerk who is your boss enters the scene. Good, you weren't ready to grow up from harassing him and making him feel so small. Even if he could fire you at any moment, Quincy and Smiley, two Fort Wayne high bench warmers, are here too. They will never get laid. Unless you squint your eyes until your lids burst with a plan, add the special effects in post. You are fit to be tied. And they haven't seen anything yet. Let the secret slip bit by bit, feeling more geniuser with every emission. There's a thrill, releasing control over a number, and watching media reaction go wild with speculation and botched equations based on assumptions they made. Let them over be beholden to you some more. You sputter out non-truths, finding one who'll grasp it as you switch off your phone, but you realize their reach is too wide now, so you don't bother. Instead of using that bitch, you'll cut the chain at the end nearest to food. And that's none other than Susan Silverman. Son, were you happy enough to be shocked when I died? You looked through and past me as I read your story off a yellow sheet on a new answering machine which used voice recognition to call you. I wasn't smart enough to learn the way it coiled the phone cord back up. The sentences sounded strange and too formal for you, like reading a biography of someone you knew anymore under their real name. I miss you, Ma.
I'm feeling very tired. I should go. I should wrap it up. I should leave it.
Click. Your mother has seen to it that you will sleep great tonight. Did the fax spit the obituary under your hotel room door? Yes, you send a return fax saying thanks for $50. The first thing you'll buy is a 2-year supply of lighter than air alchemy. Quincy and Smiley park their groins into folding chairs and survey the scan box while it copies. Yikes. A fighter border coach makes an ink cloud. The feds showed no mercy on your first passenger train either. It's paper, Charlie. As Smiley put it in his colorful way, criminal destruction of evidence. You run a numbers game, 'cause no one knows what that is anymore. Now, there's proof. You number every last sheet in your stories by hand and sign with a flourish at the bottom for the nation and the quest. No net yet can hold the jumpiness you feel. A warmth strikes your heart every time the editor, Big Voice as you call him, learns your name on a letter. What keeps you writing letters every day after no reply for a month? My OCD and my spite. And now that you and Big Voice have become friends, you've got to be the first one to see the next story. He doesn't even allow his wife Heather read it yet, and she's practically an accomplice, typing the whole thing up for the net. It's finished too. Okay, take 15 for commercial break. You pass out.
And I should too.
When you hear the familiar clack-clack of the keyboard you snap to. Welcome back. The boys of every persuasion come around, but only when Big Voice calls. That's just how it works. The room was dark before and it's darker now as you enter. And as scary as things may become based on the comments, no one in charge is calling the shots, you're selling tickets. Read some of those comments. Here that always happens, big voice. And closing your eyes is a start to dreamland. Re-enter. Isn't it strange? Everything seems closer somehow, and that the adrenaline's wearing off at long last. Didn't realize you were holding your breath, but thanks, body. It's starting to blanket, and you're situated right between Quincy and Smiley, who've been quiet as mice all this time. Excuse me for the stereotype. Do stereotypes stream a Polish sheep? We shall find out. To be continued. Credits. Justify. A netizen, or employed wage slave falling asleep in his office, dreams about writing a criminally obscene postcard for Christmas. In it, desperate characters get poetic justice over their libertine ways and becomes fodder for future works of Kiko XP's. And seeing that in part this tale had its influence by the writings of Thomas Pynchon, the postman always cries at the end.
I'll figure that out later. I need to go to bed. Oh, consume Lucius. Oh, I should have consumed Lucius. I didn't see it. Oh. Well, okay, I'll come back to it later. And then we'll all consume Lucius. And then we'll go into on the taste, flavor patterns, the flavor profile. So I wish for a hearty sleep and many waxy, full flavor profiles to you all. Good night.